Sidap dinawa ko nagplan di mo.
Kakasbig square, aktisbig square.
Nemskamat, testiamono.
Megwa kinuamdan dawem dameng kilwen minwa.
Kakasbig square, aktisbig square.
Talanginan, ilagwem shkama.
Gigamikamin na ni sinabi mo.
You are watching Finding Our Talk.
Vous regardez Parler pour survivre.
Kakausip tinik kanapu.
Chitawaruk na ukawanak.
Leng senes payo.
Hello. Welcome to Finding Our Talk. I'm Paul Chaput, your host for this series. One of the main challenges for language programs is that of reaching young people. Today, we'll go to the outskirts of Montreal to two Mohawk communities and look at the innovative approaches they've developed to reach young people and teach them the Mohawk language. The Mohawk community of Ganasatagi gained national and international attention during the Oka crisis of 1990. The Mohawk people defied government authority to protect the sacred pines of Oka against the expansion of a local golf club. That summer's standoff instigated major changes for the community of Ganasatagi and also had a major effect on how governments dealt with Native people across the country. It even helped set in motion the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples. Today, the sounds and images of that summer are long gone, but a different fight has begun amongst these pines, the fight to save the Mohawk language. The community plan to save their language was to construct a brand new Mohawk immersion school in the heart of the pines that the community fought so hard to protect in 1990.
Where Robert and those guys had already finished the cleanup. Want to do a walk around and then they
Watahina Nicholas is the school's principal. She was one of the first people who helped establish the Mohawk immersion program 6 years ago.
Okay.
Netin kwatung zoni ne dosa in kwata wana tumse dan da nese kanoru ne ngwawana ta kwata ka saha na cha ngwesunwa oyunu ke ne akowana.
What I was telling is when you come in, the first thing you're going to look is in this area. You're going to catch that blue.
There was a realization that we're losing our language. And in the year 1992, I used to teach Mohawk as a subject, and it wasn't working when you were only teaching 30 minutes a day, because the students would go back and take English and French, so it was like tokenism to me. There were parents who were really interested to have the immersion program. They wanted their children to have full immersion rather than just Mohawk as a subject. So we were at the federal school without a classroom. We used to go into the nurse's room under the stairs, wherever space became available.
The cost of the project was over $2 million and has been in the planning stages for more than 3 years. The school's scheduled opening for the fall of 2001 is on time and under budget.
Your children's children, to say.
Rodney Hill is the construction coordinator for the project.
The Parents Committee is the one that steered this whole project right through to my position and the decisions that I make and on how we spend the money for their school, what gets put into the school, the design of the school. But mind you, we're working with a very good team of architects, engineers, and construction managers as well to give them what they requested. It was tough along the way, but we've skimped on nothing. We've given away nothing. It's exactly as they requested.
Community involvement and environmental considerations were essential in the building of the school in the Pines.
The main thing in the Parents Committee was the preservation of the trees. We've lost 16 trees to put the school into where it's sitting. We rotated the building 13 degrees in order to save the row of trees behind the gymnasium. So it was a very environmentally friendly project, as well as community people and everything. So it was an all-around success. It was a good move on council's part, the community's part, to go in the directions they went with the school.
There were many struggles along the way, but it's sheer determination. I have the gift of my language, and I should give that back. And a lot of the teachers feel like that too. It's not a job that we have. It's a purpose. It's a dedication. It's our nationhood.
Wakatonuni ya kwenye sakatati na kawana tan saha katonuni na kohetse na ngwawana na kiatero ukung anukwati tanu nene ko nyehra ramha ko eso saro ni kung raya das tinne tehniase kwa ikoti titu humtohun na ngwawana aita wan mustate dan kwa tini tiang kwa te senayon ta ne tini kane karasela ne ahmste tam tahati hawe ne a ovok ne amtu jero te na hota ne na hota in kwa te lihuate jatun ne amtu jero te unkwa wona unkwe amsa yunkwisu ta amsutun hete ya tekele a konheye ne unkwa wona.
Coming from a family that both my parents are fluent speakers, my grandparents. Most of my brothers and myself, we don't speak. You know, we understand fairly well what's going on, but we're just caught in a generation where hardly anyone speaks, and that includes most of my friends. I don't think I have anyone who's my age who speaks fluent Mohawk, and there's been quite a movement in the past 12 years, I'd say, to revitalize, and people are starting to realize that our language is slowly disappearing. We have to start somewhere to revitalize it, and I believe in the immersion school and what they have to offer for our kids. I think it's important for him to learn as much as he can. I tell him what I know at home. We try to reinforce it at home through his schoolwork and what he brings home from school to help him out as much. His interaction with his grandparents is very important, and my mother's very strong on speaking to him in Kanyakeha.
So when we finally got our school, and that's where we chose to send our daughter because we wanted to continue, because to me that's who we are. We lose that, you know, we don't exist as our people, as Mohawk people.
It's an important part of our life, our language. The language describes and holds the legends and everything, and to who we are and what we are and the purposes that we have on this journey that we're on now. So it's very important that this generation passes it on for another 7 generations.
So I think it's important that our language continues and they know who they are and are proud of it and just keep going for the future. Otherwise, I'd really like her to continue.
On September 11th, 2001, the school finally opens with 50 students, 6 teachers, and a happy community.
Building it in the Pines was a significance because of things that happened 10, 12 years ago. It certainly makes a statement as to, you know, we're taking back the land and reasserting our rights in our territory.
The area itself, we're proud that we didn't destroy half the forest putting the school in there. The children are happy, that they're the happiest. That's the main thing. Out of all the arguments and all the sweat and all of the discussions and meetings and everything that has gone through, when we see the children smile when they come up and see their building, everything else goes away. So it's well worth it.
The creation of curriculum development by fluent speakers like Skawan Ngati Montuo is one of the most important roles for the Ganasataki Mohawk Immersion School. Montuo has devoted more than 15 years to teaching children the Mohawk language.
The language was always important to me because that's my language, and that was the only language I spoke until I was about 7 or 8 years old. And both my parents spoke Mohawk. We all spoke Mohawk at home, and I think all the children should have that chance, is to learn their language when they're young. That way you never forget.
Teaching the language to her grandson is an especially proud moment.
Speaking the language it makes me feel that I have something from the past that hasn't been, assimilated away or phased out. That, it's kind of like, well, you have a piece of history with you that nobody can take away from you.
I started teaching him when he was just a baby. Even though when he went to school, I didn't see him that often except on weekends. But what he learned from the time he was very young, from the time he was a baby until he went to school, I don't think he forgot. He still remembers. So that's why I think it's very important to teach children when they're very young.
Visit your grandparents. Ask them to tell you stories. Ask them to tell you about their lives and their experiences in their language, even if you don't understand it. And, if you understood nothing, it doesn't matter. Just listen, and you'll pick it up. And just visit them. Move in with them. Come on. There's nothing easier than to spend time with your grandparents, because they're fun people more often than not. And most of them are more than willing to teach you if you take the initiative and you just say, hey, I want to learn.
Here, as in many Native communities across Canada, the preservation of Aboriginal languages must now be taken up by the young people. In the community of Ganawagi, a group of young people have adopted an interesting approach to developing their language skills. They are part of a video club called Deyoyaks. Now in its 3rd year of operation, Deyoyaks offers teens from 14 to 20 a chance to make videos that incorporate the Mohawk language.
Down in the chair. So you know your line? Yep. Okay. Tell me to go. All right, in action. Okay. So Xander, smile all you want.
The project is the brainchild of 24-year-old Marion Delarond.
My Uncle Steve was working at Ungwawana, and he was trying to get teens involved in the language, so he said, why don't we merge our projects? It sounds like something Brighter Futures would do, and that's the first time I ever even heard of Brighter Futures. And they've been funding us for the past 3 years.
The Brighter Futures program is a government-funded source geared towards community youth-oriented programs such as the Deyoyaks.
Okay, do you have any idea what this might be caused from?
So with that in mind, that's how I wrote the proposal, and I brought it to Brighter Futures, and it was accepted. But what happened was I had put 25% Mohawk was a requirement for each film we make here. That it has several objectives. I think that's one of the more important ones.
Walter, we learned our lesson. Sajo.
Huh.
Asatunda de gone asajo.
Huh. Yeah.
It's been like I think, successfully planted in this town now. Like, it's established, there's a need for it. And I mean, if it wasn't here for a year, you know, these teens would certainly be in uproar. Months before we start, they have their scripts written.
De Galazor is a typical 18-year-old, in that movies and television have had a huge impact on his life. One of the famous Mohawk language videos to come out of Deoyux is a film entitled To the Rescue.
The requirement was that we needed 25% of Mohawk in our films. So I had to think of a way to incorporate it, because there was some films that were making it sort of like not making fun but joking that you know, that we had a movie and we said, oh, we have to get the 25% Mohawk done. So they had a meter. It said 0% and 25, and they'd say anything in Mohawk, you know. So that was sort of funny. But I wanted to incorporate it more in a creative way. So I decided that the aliens in my movie To the Rescue should speak Mohawk. Not that I'm saying Mohawk people are aliens. It was just a creative way of incorporating it into the film.
I think that's the first time I've seen a Mohawk movie with English subtitles.
Some of them were able to incorporate Mohawk easier than others. It's a challenge, and it's not easy. A lot of people don't even have Mohawk speakers in their family to translate for them. A lot.
I say, did you know that honeybees can fly as fast as 30 miles per hour? How do you say, like, they go faster?
Judika.
What's that? How do you say honeybees or bees?
Tinakutahkwane.
I can't say that.
Tinakutahkwane. Tinakutahkwane.
Tinatakwa.
Tinakutahkwane.
I want the frame to end.
The majority of the students of the Deoyux are graduates of one of the 3 Mohawk immersion schools in Ganawagi. One such student is Gatsitsanaro McGregor.
Some people have a hard time because their parents don't speak or whatever, but there's always somebody in town that you can go to if you need it, or, you know, it's not that difficult. I guess maybe I just think that way because my father's fluent, so I don't have to go very far, but I don't know. I don't find it difficult. I understand, I can speak, but I'm not, you know, I don't know everything. Not like my dad, with years of experience. Doga. Raksa'ar Udomzoni, the film. He's more comfortable speaking in Ganyagahad than he is in English. He finds it more pure, you know what I mean? Instead of, like, he likes the directness of the language. And since he's comfortable, I'm comfortable. So it's kind of like a trade-off.
For many young people who have gone through the Mohawk immersion schools in Ganawagi, the challenge in keeping their language skills alive is to keep speaking once they finish school.
Okay. Yeah. I was in full immersion up until grade 6, and then I just went to high school out there. And in grade 9, this person came from the Ed Center. I think it was Joanne, and she gave me this little test, and she just gave me the simplest drawing, and it had like kids playing outside and like trees and things like that. And she just said, well, give me some Mohawk words. What do you see in here? And it really scared me. Like, I was kind of traumatized for the rest of the day. I was like, I couldn't think of how to say hair anymore. I couldn't think of how to say pants, things like that. And it upset me. I was like, what happened to me, you know? But that's just, you know, because you need to be practicing. And it's not that I didn't have parents who, my father was a Mohawk teacher, you know, but it just doesn't get spoken at home so easily. You know, you really have to make the effort.
I think my life would have been different if I didn't attend Mohawk immersion, maybe because I wouldn't have been speaking it that much when I was younger. I don't speak it that much in the house except for when my nephew's around, because he's the younger one, so we try to speak around him as much as possible. But I think that I know some of the language, and I think I wouldn't know as much as I know now if I didn't go to Mohawk immersion.
Can you pass it under the table? Through the boxes?
Oh!
Nope.
All right. Most people value French over our language or English even, because they think that to work on the outside that we need French and everything. We do, but to have a cultural base is more important than, others. It's just, yeah.
We'd like your comments on our program and any suggestions you might have for future episodes. Just drop us a line or check out our website. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week for more language adventures on Finding Our Talk.